Hi, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Tuesday the 22nd of December. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, relatively bullish start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin move back through the pivot at 22,891 to bring that first major resistance level at 23,898 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break out from 23,500 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 24 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, got resistance at 25 to limit any upside on the day. Second major resistance level sits at 25,084. Failure to move back through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 21,705 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub-21s. Second major support level sits at 26,998. Looking at the MACD, we got a bullish cross this morning after yesterday's choppy end to the day, but nothing conclusive to provide direction through the early part of the morning. On the EMAs, we have seen the 50 narrow on the 100, suggestive of some downside through the latter part of the day. So key through the early part of the morning would be to move back through the pivot and through to 23,500 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, also positive start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 617.77 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 638.65. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 630s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 640 to pin Ethereum back. In the event of a breakout, got resistance at 660 that would likely come into play. Second major resistance level at 669.22. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 587.2 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub-580s. Second major support level sits at 566.32. Looking at the MACD, slight widening of the bullish histogram after yesterday's late bullish cross, supporting the upside. On the EMAs, however, we're seeing the 50 pull back from the 100 and narrow on the 200 after that bearish cross through the 100 yesterday, suggests that we're further downside ahead. So failure to move through the pivot and back through to 630 levels would bring support levels into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, it's a particularly bullish start to the morning here. Going to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 107.99 to bring the first major resistance level at 115.32 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from 110 levels. So barring an extended rally through the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, got resistance at 130 that would likely come into play. Second major resistance level sits at 126.21. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the 23.6% fib at 101 and the first major support level sitting at 97.10 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of sub-90. Second major support level sits at 89.77. Looking at the MACD, got a bullish cross late yesterday and a widening of the bullish histogram this morning, supporting the early upside. On the EMA, however, we are seeing the 50 narrow on the 100 and the 200, suggesting a further downside ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through that pivot at 107.99 and back through to 110 levels. Failure to do that, and that 23.6% fib and support levels are in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, tracking the broader market early on. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.5276 and the 38.2% fib at 0.5285. to bring that first major resistance level 0.5560 into play. Going to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.55 levels. So barring an extended rally through the day, expect that first major resistance level and Monday's high at 0.5690 to cap any upside on the day. In the event of a breakout, got resistance at 0.60 that would likely come into play. Second major resistance level sits at 0.5974. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 0.4863 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP is just well clear of the second major support level, so doing 0.4579. Looking at the MACD, slight widening of the bullish histogram this morning, supporting the early upside. On the EMAs, however, we're seeing the 50 pull back from the 100 and the 200 after the bearish cross yesterday, and we're seeing the 100 narrow on the 200, also suggests a further downside ahead. So faded to move through the pivot and 38.2% fib through to 5.55 levels would bring support levels into play.